is that server?
You could get clapped like a round of applause.
What's good, y'all? If you're new to the channel, my name is Shadiq and I'm on KRXOVR Media, and this guy right here is Frank, in case you haven't seen him before. I always try to do my album reactions with Frank. This one is actually a mixtape, so we're checking out Unknown T's Adolescence. If you haven't already, make sure you check out our reaction to Rise Above Hate. And also, before we get into this reaction as well, make sure you check out my intro to Unknown T mix and playlist. I put together my top 10 songs for new Unknown T listeners. If you want to put your friends on to Unknown T but you don't know where to start, or if you just want to hear what I think are Unknown T's best songs, check out that video. I mixed the whole playlist down into like an 11-minute mix, so that way you can get a sample of each of the songs. But listen, I really want to check this out. We were meant to do this one way sooner, around the same time that we actually did the Dave album reaction, but some things came up, school came up, we both work full-time. He's a full-time clown, as you can see as well, so we didn't get to film it the way that we wanted to, but I'm really hyped. We already heard a big chunk of these songs, so some of them aren't going to be in this reaction. Hopefully we'll be able to talk about them at some point, but we'll wrap it up at the end with our overall thoughts about the whole project, and then we'll look forward to hearing what you have to say as well. But anyway, I don't want to hold y'all too much longer. Let's get it.
I was trying to make it obvious who we were reacting to.
Let's get it. Jesus Christ. Alright, we got the first track. We're gonna get straight into this one.
Wow.
It's a very 98s kind of sound. And it has an intro vibe as well. Who produced this? I'm hoping they have the producers on. I'm gonna have to pull it up on oh, there we go, perfect. Chris Rich.
I had a feeling.
Really?
I had a feeling. I was actually gonna jokingly say it.
Damn. I love Chris Rich.
Listen, 2200 like it's 10 PM. I got no bill, went straight to the pen. My man's talking, smoking, I walk to the
2200 like it's 10 PM.
Oh snap.
bruh.
Off rip?
Off rip.
Off rip? Off ripples? I was like, why are you getting excited? I was like, oh yeah, military time.
Low like it's 10 PM.
Oh, now we know what it means.
Listen, 2200 like it's 10 PM. I got no bill, went straight to the pen. I heard my man's talking, smoking, I walk till I block that gem. On God, jailhouse won't see me again. I boast up on my block, made it pop till I beat it again. Quick, soaking, pre up again. Quick, look anytime when we do that trip. I boot loaded sticks. When me and my brody step with a 2-2, ran in the pitch, run off. Yeah, grown men can't handle the fame, so they hit on the.
Man's yo, hold on. Like, Unknown T has things that he does that he like tweaks for each song. Even like Abs has something like things that they do on different songs that they do. It's like they allude to other songs, but they're different in each song. Like that's exactly like what he did for Hold On. Anyway, yeah.
My brody step with a 2-2, ran in the pitch, run off. Yeah, grown men can't handle the fame, so they hit on the kid. I can't talk on the shit that I did, you know, them man converse in the pigs. 3 years, one of my 2-stone pendant. Drive out with Ridge and Nice for fencing. He wants a BBQ, don't mention. Hop at the sea, my brethren. Nine of the HOB with the enders. M-man quick with his whip as a blenders. HB4 was us, man, bottles on books and a.
I'm trying to avoid reloading too much, but this is one of those that deserves.
The shit that I did, you know, them man converse in the pigs. 3 years, one of my 2-stone pendant. Drive out with Ridge and Nice for fencing. He wants a BBQ, don't mention. Hop at the C32 on my bedroom. Nine of the HOB with the enders. M-man quick with his whip as a blenders. HB4 was us, man, bottles on books and a GLS bench. I heard there's patches that stain in a bit, so of course I'll clean up the yard like chores. You won't fuck on my re-up, be up the youth, man.
Clean up the yard like chores.
Man quick with his whip as a blenders. HB4 was us, man, bottles on books and a GLS bench. I heard there's patches that stain in a bit, so of course I'll clean up the yard like chores. You won't fuck on my re-up, be up the youth, man. I don't take no drawers. I can't deal with a Jolo, behind them doors get bent beyond reasonable force. You can get clapped like a round of applause, no cap Joe cats in a gates and door. Bruh.
You could get clapped like a round of applause.
And again, in one of the other reactions we did today, right, while I was talking about how I complain about similes lately, you could do it in a way that would still get me, right? When you don't overdo it, when you place them in the right moments, like you build a little bit of suspense to the punchline. If you don't make the punchline the focal point, so it makes it feel like you're supposed to be impressed by it. Like I think that's what it is. When they say it in such a way that it doesn't make you feel like they thought that was it. Like they just said it casually, like it's just a thing that I'm gonna say. I'm gonna keep going. Like I think that's when I can appreciate the similes. But when they make it feel like it's supposed to be this impressive punchline, I'm just like, yeah, nah, that wasn't as deep as you thought it was. Like that really wasn't that deep, but the way that it was delivered was deep.
I mean, to add to it too, it paints a picture.
That too.
As opposed to just saying it to say, when you hear, clap like a round of applause, you're assuming, multiple rounds.
Yeah. Oh, rounds.
Yeah.
Add another layer to the narrative.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how I envision that. Like that's simply just added.
It.
Like, that's how many times you're getting hit.
I get it. Yeah.
Drawers clear, fuck on my re-up, be up the youth, man. I don't take no drawers. I can't deal with a Jolo, but behind the doors get bent beyond reasonable.
I'ma pull it up on Spotify so I can start liking them as we play it.
Cats in the gates and doors. Deuce on tools, I must speak to the pool, so they take me to dogs. My QC's bought, I paid the past. That day's cool, I can pay what's the cost. The boys thought we can walk that crocodile teeth in the cost. The pagans
I know, his flows. And for those of you who like to complain about very minuscule things, I don't care, but I'm letting you know I'm on my phone because we're watching it on YouTube. And I'm pulling up the album on Spotify so that I can like the songs as we listen. But anyway, yeah, that flow was mad. That's the thing about Unknown T too. Like he jumps into his flows mad abruptly.
Yeah.
Like it just happens, and you're just like, oh snap, this is happening. What's happening? Ah.
Doors get bent beyond reasonable force. You can get clapped like a round of applause. No cap, Joe, cats in the gates and doors. Deuce on tools, I don't speak to the pool, so they take me to dogs. My QC's bought, I paid the past. That day's cool, I can pay what's the cost. The boys thought we can walk that crocodile teeth in the cost. The pagans cross, cause they don't make dosh. Better PIG if we Glee that block. Only VIP up in DXB, I'm a goo that boss. We can't talk and we make shit pop. Like TNT and we be out teeth on explosive blocks. This person's never...
Energy.
And you know what it is about Unknown T as well? As an artist who has been open about not liking drill anymore, being bored with it, wanting to try new things, right? You can tell who are the artists that they're getting bored with it, or they don't want that to be their whole identity, but they're producing because people want to hear it, right? What I like about Unknown T is that even though he has aspects of his music that you might say are repetitive, or rather I can hear people complaining, the way that he plays with the tones of his voice, like, that's what really makes everything have its own identity on a song-by-song basis. Like, he doesn't just deliver it monotone, dry. Like, he does all this up and down. He's doing like all these different things to add so much more personality to the... It almost feels like you can almost feel the performance. Like, I can almost visualize him performing this without even having heard the song after more than once. You feel me? Like, I could see, like, the energy on the screen, on the stage and the whole nine. You feel me?
Better PIG if we Glee that up in DXB, I'm a goo that boss. We can't talk and we make shit pop. Like TNT and we be out teeth on explosive blocks. This person's never, she don't give talk cause she love lip gloss. She's on her own thing with her own day job. Fools can't cast, so she wanna be with a G, I'm chuffed.
Wait, no, run it back just a little bit. I know we were trying not to reload it too much, but he did a lot just now and I didn't want to miss it.
Man, sad.
Showing your tops.
You love lip gloss. You don't want her gloss getting messed up. Like...
TNT and we be out teeth on explosive blocks. This person's never, she don't give talk cause she love lip gloss. She's on her own thing with her own day job. Fools can't cast, so she wanna be with a G, I'm chuffed.
This was a good intro. Solid intro. Very solid intro. Very solid intro. I'm pretty sure he said a lot, but from us trying to not reload it and all that stuff,
I love Chris
it's gonna be at the end. But from us trying to not reload it all the time, there's probably some things that we didn't catch on that very, very first listen with very minimal reloads. But I enjoyed it. That was fun, and it had an intro feeling.
Yeah, and Chris Rich and the 98s are like a match made in heaven.
Bro.
He's that server.
Bro.
Yeah.
Facts. So in this channel, we hold the vowels. That means we're getting straight into it. And I'm not saying that after this. This is the first and last time. I always do that in the album reactions, at least once. But we're getting straight into it. This was a very solid one. It has everything that we love from the 98s, everything that we love from Unknown T. It was just solid. I already have much to say other than it was solid.
Yeah, honestly, like I already knew this was a Chris Rich beat before we even checked, and Chris Rich did his thing as always, and Unknown T followed up and did his thing as well as they always do when those two come together. So there's not really much I can say about it either. It was a solid intro.
Very solid, yeah.
You know,
the flows. Unknown T did what he does. I don't know what it was about it. It didn't. I think it's more so his delivery than the flow that wows me. If that even makes sense. Like the way that he says the things, like the tones in his voice, the playfulness, just him having fun with it. Less so than like the catching of the beat, right? So I guess that's what I'm getting. When I'm talking about flows, I'm talking about like the patterns, right? The different patterns of the syllables versus like the way that he's saying it. I think that this is one of those where the flow is Unknown T's flow. It is what it is. It's spectacular. but I think that what's really helping it push forward is the delivery and just all the layers to how he says what he says, more so than the flow pattern specifically. I think he probably just set the bar so high that it's just like it's gonna be hard for him to surpass himself. That's probably the main reason why I'm just like, I don't know about it being a perfect flow right now.
It's probably because it was a bit choppy for him.
Yeah.
In general.
But it worked out, yeah.
Yeah, but it did work out.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just one of those that you like when you catch a certain flow.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to just jump to the next one when you already caught onto this. Vibe with that.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably what did that. It still was pretty impressive.
Nonetheless, yeah. And then the beat itself. Chris Rich is another one of those producers where I have to hear a recent song for me to remember and realize that he's one of my favorite producers. Like, there's people, like, whenever people ask me who's your favorite producer, like, off the top of my head, C Beats always comes to mind. Chirac always comes to mind. He does all the beats on my channel. At least all the beats that I use are from Chirac Beats, right? He doesn't have a big placement yet, but he's still up there, right? BK is my personal all-time favorite producer.
I hate his turd.
Right? But then there's like the Tifos and the Chris Riches. I'm just like, wait, after even like RJ, right, who did a couple of Two Faces, right? Mm-hmm. There's certain producers where I almost forget sometimes that they're one of my favorite producers. I don't know why, but I do. Chris Rich is one of those, and this one jogged my memory. Everything about it's perfect. It had the perfect 98's vibe. It had the perfect intro vibe. It was just a well-constructed beat. It's perfect. And then lyrically, wasn't that spectacular. Like, not to say that it wasn't good, but it wasn't some of the things that he's given us before. I think he's now reached a point where, again, he set his bar so high that's like for him to exceed that is going to be a challenge. So it's like it was way above average, right? But it was average by Unknown T standards. Other than that, though, it's a damn near perfectly replayable track. Yeah. I think it's great. I do think it's one of those where I'm going to want to listen to the whole project if I want to play this one. I don't think I'll play 2200 or 2200 just to play 2200. Like, if I play that, I'm playing it because I want to hear the whole project.
I agree. Nothing more for me to say either.
Facts. We're going to get straight into this next one. So Frank and I actually heard this song way before the project itself dropped, so I actually did a reaction. I put my original score in this final score as well, but I'm going to let Frank take the reins and talk about how he feels about this track.
Me personally, I just see this as like a nostalgic gift. It just reminds us of like the old Chicago drill sound.
Yeah.
You know, like it reminds me very heavily of like Kill S-Word by Little Herban and Lil Bibby from way back. That was like one of the major drill songs that got like Drake onto the scene and stuff like that. It just felt like a fan service for people who have been around drill from its roots. It wasn't something that was like super special lyrically for like what we're used to from Unknown T. He kind of just came on here and just spit. No, like there wasn't any major story he was telling or anything like that. It was just it just felt like drill fan service.
I agree.
And that's not a bad thing. I'm just saying like it wasn't really anything that like jumped out at me.
I agree.
And I've had it on my playlist for a while too, so I've listened to it a couple times as well.
I understand.
So my first time hearing it, that's exactly how it felt too. It just felt like, you know, a drill fan service. So it's still replayable. It's still a, you know, a cool track. Just not something that like is super standoutish for what we hear in Unknown T's catalog already.
That's a fact. Now it's crazy, right? Because I rated this one very highly when I first listened to it. I don't necessarily feel differently about it in the sense I don't think it's a worse song than I initially thought. I just think that after sitting with it longer, it's one of those where as I come down from the initial high of like the first reaction and I really sit with it, I didn't listen to it as much as I probably thought that I would have after hearing it for the first time. But I do think that it has a bit of a novelty value in the sense that it's a song that stands out within his catalog in its sound. I think that's one of the things I like about Unknown T is that because he has been so vocal about being fed up with drill, he doesn't shy away from incorporating new sounds, taking new risks, right, and telling the stories whenever he does tell the story, but giving those kinds of narratives in slightly new and more creative ways. So that's one of the things that I like about this song, but it really didn't end up being one of those that I really actually listened to after reacting to it. Like it's a good song, but just compared to things like Prison, Hummer and B, Throwback, like songs that I genuinely rinse from Unknown T, even like Goodums, World War II, and Wonderland on this project, that those are songs that I've rinsed. I didn't rinse this one like those ones. But either way, it's obviously still a good track. Unknown T is an incredible artist. We're going to get straight into this next track. This one sounds different off rip. I kind of wish that we were listening to it on Spotify so we can get a feel for how the song transition. But maybe what we'll do is as we continue going through, we'll play the last couple of seconds of each track on Spotify and let it fade in. So I don't know, but this one sounds different. Just like a track.
So we bracket, I can never show weakness. Put the trenches.
It kind of has like a U.S. West Coast feel to it too. Something like a G-Eazy.
It has like I would say it has like a trap vibe, which reminded me of like a Potter type song. I can hear Potter. It's funny because Potter, Unknown T was the second song. Sorry, was on the second song of Potter's most recent project. So if Potter was on this one, that would have been an interesting kind of thing.
Listen, the streets always bracken, I can never show weakness. Fresh off the M charger, I beat it. Always kept a straight face, I never showed them how I'm feeling. Bare pepper on my plate, never lacking, gotta keep it in the deepest. Yo, taught me how to man up, all them other niggas tweaking. Straight pull-ups, net bagging it, the nasium on the weekend. Look, I'm free flow bopping with my G's them. Toothbrush with 2 blades on when I'm checking for the uppers on a grease thing. I do this for the trenches, when you're balling, you take numerous expenses.
I didn't want to do it. I really didn't. I really didn't want to do it, but I had to. It had to be done. It had to be done.
There's a song I'm thinking of that won't come to my mind.
Did I break the keyboard? Okay. But
On this day, October 11th, Monday at 5:26 U.S. Eastern Standard Time, Crossover Media thought he broke his keyboard finally.
But yeah, it's reminding me of so much too, but I can't put my hand on it either. I get what you mean.
Yeah, it reminds me of something. I just can't.
That bounce though, that bounce on it. Like again, that's why what I like about Unknown T is that he's been open about being tired of the genre, but because of his tiredness, he's always pushing the envelope and giving us these different sounds. Like, bro, from the top.
Who produced this?
The question.
This is special.
Oh, it is featuring Potter Paper.
You just ruined your own surprise.
Doesn't matter. I'm the best because I called it. I said this is a Potter type song. I'm actually the best. I'm the best, yo. I'm actually the best.
We the best. Who we the best.
Did I not call it though? I said, yo, this is a Potter type song.
Bruh.
Cause so for those of you who don't know, but watching this on YouTube it only has the name of the track. It doesn't have the features in the title. So I'm just like, it's funny because Unknown T is the feature on Potter's second track, and now Potter is the feature on Unknown T's second track.
Third.
It's the third. Ah, man, you're right. Damn, son. You shut up. Damn. Wow, that's awkward.
Never show weakness, fresh off the M charger, I beat it. Always kept a straight face, I never showed them how I'm feeling. Bare pepper on my plate, never lacking, gotta keep it in the deepest. Yo, taught me how to man up, all them other niggas tweaking. Straight pull-ups, net bagging it, the nasium on the weekend. Look, I'm free flow bopping with my G's them. Toothbrush with 2 blades on when I'm checking for the uppers on a grease thing. I do this for the trenches, when you're balling, you take numerous expenses. Them other niggas cooling with their benches, and who the ones are fencing. Click back kicks proper when it's blending. I got my block, I do this for the trenches. Yo,
The small thing, that one random. Unknown T is probably top 3 ad-libs in drill. Up there with Gully, Abs, Trizak, V9. There's a lot of people up there who I think are suitable for top 3, top 5.
M24 is up there too. That
Facts.
Many facts.
and who the ones are fencing. Trenches, when you're balling, you take numerous expenses. Them other niggas cooling with their benches, and who the ones are fencing. Click back kicks proper when it's blending. I got my block, I do this for the trenches. Yo, who's the one extending? The Luger bells will boodle at your bedroom. Point on sight, you're shook without your veteran. Let me teach the youth a lesson. You can't stop, keep them all a stretching. Get on your deal and do it for the trenches.
I got a millionaire mind frame.
The Luger bells will boodle at your bedroom. Point on sight, you're shook without your veteran. Let me teach the youth a lesson. You
Shook
can't
without
stop,
your
keep them all a
veteran.
stretching. Get on your deal and do it for the trenches.
I got a millionaire mind frame. Counting money till I get a migraine. Put it on the fullest and that's sideways. Crime pays, getting rich in the drought, no more dry days. I'm old school, lick the move, split it 5 ways. In the hood, all the feds know me by name. I put him on the block, he saw his life change. Said I put him on the block, he saw his life change. Phone just slapping, gotta stick it on vibrate. Bend it over and she put that pussy on jack.
This beat is madness.
Yeah, yo.
Potter, honestly, Potter picks very good beats as well. Like, for somebody, producer studio, Sean Merds. I'm not familiar with you. Sean D. No, sorry, Sean D is the engineer. Sean Merds, shout outs to you. Potter is an artist, he always finds the right beats. And for somebody who tells similar stories with each song, right, a lot of Potter's songs, they're oriented around the trap and everything, right? He never gets stale. You could probably get a little bit overwhelmed listening to him because, as you would say, he's always rapping at you sometimes. So it's a little bit tricky. But if you listen to Potter and song by song doses, his songs have a familiar feeling, but they don't always sound the same. And it's something about his beat choices. Like, he's probably not I have to give Potter some respect. He's probably like top 5 in terms of beat selection in the UK. I think Abs is very good beat selection. I think Unknown T has good beat selection. I think V9 has very good beat selection.
Yep.
Two-Face is very good beat selection. Potter, I have to give him her respect.
It's life change, phone just slapping, gotta stick it on vibrate. Bend it over and she put that pussy on gyrate. Smiling in my face, but I can see the slight hate, I'm so perceptive. Trying to eat with my whole collective. He ain't on smoke, fam, I'm on smoke directly. So I ain't trying to hold a reasoning. Pepper man, hold a seasoning. You weren't with me in a bando, cold and freezing, they don't know the meaning.
First said Pepper Man, hold the seasoning.
Had to hit him with the Salt Bay.
He said that? He said
No, that was me. That was me. You gotta hit him with the Salt Bay, like, whoa.
Jeez.
Smiling in my face, but I can see the slight hate, I'm so perceptive. Trying to eat with my whole collective. He ain't on smoke, fam, I'm on smoke directly. So I ain't trying to hold a reasoning. Pepper man, hold a seasoning. You weren't with me in a bando, cold and freezing, they don't know the meaning.
Kelly, got the cheese, filling up the block with peas. My face so big, we circulating different properties. Ratings doesn't bother me, I'm dodging all that poverty. Paper demonstrating, I'm relating to Monopoly. Flew out 20 bitches to my beer, that's a lot
I know.
Dripping
Bro,
out
hopefully there's gonna be a back and forth. That would have been the moment to do. Maybe, hopefully at some point, maybe later on they go back and forth. I mean, every 4-8 bars, however it is, whatever. But
Word. It feels like one of those.
it should be one of those. It really should be. If not, I hope they do it in the future song.
It's so big, we circulating different properties. Ratings doesn't bother me, I'm dodging all that poverty. Paper demonstrating, I'm relating to Monopoly. Flew out 20 bitches to my beer, that's a lot for me. Dripping out these riches, why there's bitties on the block for me. Creeping with a pumpy on your block, I don't get comfy. She wants drillings, I'm just chilling for Ed, that's company. Police wanna target, cause we rotate the fuckeries. Lawyers wanna bug and wonder.
Sorry, we have to pull that whole verse back. I don't care how anybody feels.
He's wild.
They don't know the meaning.
Kelly, got the cheese, filling up the block with peas. My face so big, we circulating different properties. Ratings doesn't bother me, I'm dodging all that poverty. Paper demonstrating, I'm relating to Monopoly. Flew out 20 bitches to my beer, that's a lot for me. Dripping out these riches, why there's bitties on the block for me. Creeping with a pumpy on your block, I don't get comfy. She wants drillings, I'm just chilling for Ed, that's company. Police wanna come.
I knew he said something. I was like, what did he say? That's why I wanted to go back before somebody tried to piss me off in the comments. Right? I don't care. Right? There's probably some reference. I heard him say 4Ed or something like that. I wonder if that's a company, like an actual company. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look that one up. So I know there's probably something there that it feels like there's something there that I'm not catching. But
Pumpy on your block, I don't get comfy. She wants drillings, I'm just chilling for Ed, that's company. Police wanna target, cause we rotate the fuckeries. Lawyers wanna bug and wonder whole case, luckily. Don't take mockery, something got slipped. Let me sip on my cup of tea. Chitter doesn't bother me, my GM's bodily. If you're on your back, let's not go left, was in the dock with me. I was in the back and trying to flip it like the lottery. All them niggas wassing, they don't do the drillings properly. Send them an apology.
Then it gang, that's for social media. Real life, they ain't following the real procedure. If you don't know Potter Rush, a local dealer. I come through smelling like Sensamelia. Screaming, fuck your dead homie like necrophilia. My smile's on.
Alright. Okay. Alright. No. There are there are a very short list of untouchable. That was one of those things that did not need to be touched. But it's okay. I'm not hurt by it. I just didn't need to hear that one.
And that's the crazy thing. I know I've probably heard something like that before. I don't think that's the first time I've heard that. But anyway, we're in the zone 2.
Smelling like Sensamelia. Screaming, fuck your dead homie like necrophilia. My smile's on chill, but my neck's the freezer like sea breezy. I make it seem easy. They ain't OJ, I'm OJ like score easy. More money, more pagans and more sweetie. Feds watching all the time, I can't talk freely. Face down, arse up, that was your beanie. Had to share it with my friend, I bet you're greedy. Part by that cheese, by that fettuccine. Paper on my name, smoky when you see me. Still blue slim, full of blue sushi. Move bookie, I got Munduki.
I do this for the trenches. When you're balling, you take numerous expenses. Them other niggas cooling with their benches. And who the ones offensive?
The way his flow is like, I don't know how to describe it. I need to get better at finding a more technical language to describe the flow, but it's like something about it. The syllable that he's accentuating changed. I don't know how to describe it. There's a small delay between two of the syllables, and there's a way that he's accentuating one of them that really hit me. That's how I knew that the flow changed from the previous flow. I don't know how else to describe it. Like maybe I'm bugging it out.
Blue slim full of blue
You let me know if you hear it. I could be wrong.
I do this for the trenches. When you're balling, you take numerous expenses. Them other niggas cooling with their benches. And who the ones are fencing? Kick back kicks proper when it's blending. I got my block, I do this for the trenches. Use the one
You see what I'm
extended.
saying? It's like something about the beginning. It goes straight through. Then he kind of slows it a
He's
little.
emphasizing the middle word, and the rhyming scheme is like literally from start to finish,
There you
line to
go.
line. But in the like that middle word, and numerous expenses. And
Okay, cool.
like,
So I'm not bugging. Yeah, you hear what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah, it's just like those are the little technical things, yo.
Back kicks proper numerous expenses. Them other niggas cooling with their benches. And who the ones are fencing? Kick back kicks proper when it's blending. I got my block, I do this for the trenches. Who's the one extending? The Luger bells will boodle at your bedroom. Point on sight, you're shook without your veteran. Let me teach you a lesson. You can't stop, keep the mullah stretching. Get on your dean and do it for the trenches.
You're right. It's like it's the middle word to then,
Let
and
me
then he
teach you a
accentuates the
lesson.
last
You can't
word.
stop, keep the mullah stretching. Get on your dean and do it for the trenches. Let me teach you a lesson. You can't stop, keep the mullah stretching. Get on your dean and do it for the trenches.
It might be. 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 You know what it is? This is one of those where if I wasn't breaking down things, it would be a 10 track. But I do feel like lyricism wise, like a 995.
That's cute. I'm giving the credit where the credit is due, bro.
I respect it. I respect it. This is one of those where, for all intents and purposes, it's perfect. Like, it's one of those, if I was just listening to it, I was like, yeah, it's a 10 out of 10 track, knee-jerk, visceral reaction response, right? But thinking about the things that I've thought about more after listening to songs after the reaction and opinions that have changed about previous songs, to like be more consistent with the ways that I've been thinking as of late. It's like in the lyricism area, I think this is one of those where it was how what was being said made it hit so hard, not necessarily what the what was. You feel me? I think Potter is one of those where he's not even super duper heavy on like wordplay and everything. He just gives you stories and just scenarios that feel like stories that it's like, yeah, nah, this is too cold. Potter's too cold of a lyricist. Unknown T, he had some incredible moments as well. It's just something about it just doesn't hit me again on some of the levels that I've given 10s before. But again, for all intents and purposes, it's perfect. Yeah, that's just how I feel.
You win.
Perfect.
Sure, I get
Anyway,
it. I get it. I get it.
Nah, honestly
I get
speaking,
it. I
like,
get it.
to a degree, I understand. Like, yes, lyrically, there weren't that many moments, especially like in comparison to some tracks that we gave 10s to lyrically in the past.
Yeah.
For like whoa,
Yeah,
like every verse there was something.
yeah. It was something.
You know what I'm saying? In this track, I didn't really feel like there were that many moments, but for some reason, you know how I say when the beat does the job, sometimes you just gotta give the beat a 10.
Yeah.
It's like this is one of those things where like the lyrics did the job. Like this track created a vibe that one I have not heard in a very long time.
Understood.
Nor have I heard from anybody in the UK up to this point.
Understood.
If I'm honest, I haven't heard it from anyone.
fair.
This was like a weird hybrid between like a West Coast vibe beat
and then with the trap.
with like a trapped aspect and like the still kind of like a really hard punching East Coast type lyricism to it. So like it was like that perfect collection of just like it's like you took two coasts and a whole different nation and just merged them together.
I get it.
The product that came out was just beautiful. It's really hard for me to take it away from this because this just felt like a perfectly put together thing.
It's one of those where it's like within its lane, it was perfect lyrically. So in that regard, I could definitely yield. Like within its lane, like within like this space that it occupies in its genre and in its sound, yeah, I agree. It's doesn't get any better than that at all. Already this is sounding more experimental than Rise Above Hate. Especially considering knowing what some of the future tracks are. It's definitely, you know, I can't even say that because Rise Above Hate definitely had stuff like Mortal Kombat and like Sweet Symphony. So there's some other experimental joints in there too, but I think from out the gate rather, it's more experimental. Rise Above Hate, it took you towards that middle point for it to start hitting that experimental area. But anyway, yeah, we won't get straight into this next one. So World War II is one of those tracks where I couldn't stop listening to it after I reacted to it. Like it ended up being one of my morning alarms to wake me up. And then I got tired of it because I was getting annoyed hearing it. But it's an incredibly good song. Like it is so good. His flows, the beat, everything about it. It's I think the only thing is just that compared to things that he's given us lyrically, again, that's just the thing. The ceiling for 10 just keeps raising so high.
Yeah.
That is just like that's the only reason why it kind of misses the mark a little bit. But Unknown T Standards is one of his best songs.
Yeah, it was one of the songs that I remember telling you this previously too. I was like, the first time I heard it, it was kind of meant to me.
Yeah, I remember when you said that. I was like,
when I actually like. When I actually like sat down and absorbed the content, I was like, nah, this is really like
super special, yeah. Hell yeah.
And I ended up rinsing it.
OD. You know what? This is one of those that when you play in the car, for some reason, it slaps differently too.
I still do. I played it in the car with you. Yeah,
It's one of those that for some reason it slaps differently listening to on your phone versus on the computer versus like in a car with it all around you. It's just like it's one of those where you wind down the windows and you just like you have to stop by this throw up the beat, can try to lose, and free up the no proof the beat goes on the floor to re-up and feel the recruits. It's just like you can't not sing it, like you can't not get into it.
Yeah, when nobody in New York understands and you're just looking at them like you're doing your T-bop.
you have to stop like hoping you don't lift your foot up the brake by accident. It's like yeah, it's good. I just hope that he's able to continue that because, again, knowing some of the later tracks, I know some of the energy shifts that are coming through. So I'm just hoping that what's following this is able to kind of keep up the standard that World War II has set. Even Trenches up until this point in the project as well.
Yeah.
R14 and Gotcha! R14. I need to know how the 98s landed on this sound. Like, why? And why does it work for all of them? Like, what's the story behind...
Listen, East, that's HACK, we all don't roll.
You know what's funny? Earlier when we were like talking about like the inflections in Unknown T's voice, I actually wanted to mention how when he says listen, you have to listen.
You have to listen. It's like, he makes you focus. Listen, okay.
Like,
yes, sir.
damn, you didn't have to say it like that.
Listen, East, that's HACK, we all the ropes right now, it's a relay. I'm pagan, sign out, no eBay, boom, let burst right now, no dealing.
Why his voice sound
in the front, I'm PK, who said it's us, that's he say, she say. Inject to the max, no TK, kung for no ops, no chat like PK.
I don't think this was in the studio.
Yeah, this voice sounds weird, right? You don't know this, but TJ Maxx here is TK Maxx over there. It's the same company. They had to rename it because there's like some other song called TJ or something like that out there. I only know that from a vlog from a woman who's from America who went out there to do her master's. And that's the only reason why I learned about that.
So business politics, bro.
Yeah. But yeah, something about his voice. Now, if they can, like, if it's a filter that they're doing to set a particular tone, cool. But something about his voice just sounds different.
Yeah, they didn't record this in a dedicated studio, you can tell.
Listen, East, that's HACK, we all the ropes right now, it's a relay. I'm pagan, sign out, no eBay, boom, let burst right now, no dealing. Rose's in the front, I'm PK, who said it's us, that's he say, she say. Inject to the max, no TK, kung for the ops, no chat like PK. East, that's HACK, we all the...
BK Chat, I think, is a channel on YouTube. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, that looks stupid, but... I think it's something called BK Chat. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm bugging. I don't know.
Inject to the max, no TK, kung for the ops, no chat like PK.
It's when he likes though. I'm already getting annoyed by
we all the ropes right now, it's a relay. I'm pagan, sign out, no eBay, boom, let burst right now, no dealing. Rose's in the front, I'm PK, who said it's us, that's he say, she say. Inject to the max, no TK, kung for the ops, no chat like PK. Never cover latex and we rise in the chopper. There's your breakers in a blocker. Chilling on a case with indictments in a walker. Let my dreads hang walk off flocker. GS in a locker. Back row B in a party popper. Front T bop with a pumpy.
Party popper, back row G. I don't know. It's like, it's this weird thing with his voice where it's like, it's very noticeably off, but at the same time it's adding kind of an effect or a sound to it that's working, like a filter, but it very evidently doesn't sound like it was recorded the same way as some of his other tracks.
It's very flat, and it's also I'm getting a lot of like the higher like pitches coming in like with his hisses, so that's why I don't think this was recorded in its like soundproof studio. I noticed that a lot of them out there have started recording like in a kitchen or in a room.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if this is just one of those and they had to just slap so much like filtering and EQ and all of that to try to get all the noise out that it flattened his own voice.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Latex and we rise in a chopper. There's your breakers in a blocker. Chilling on a case with indictments in a walker. Let my dreads hang walk off flocker. GS in a locker. Back row B in a party popper. Front T bop with a pumpy. Boot in a boot like soccer. The ops still shots like vodka.
Two in a
He's up
boot
no
like
proper.
soccer.
Trip with a long bar. Lift and ras at a bumper. Yes, and a lock up, black roll be in the party popper. Fancy pop with a pumpy beer in the
Oh, I like how you said in the party, Papa. I like that. That was cool.
GS and a lock up, black roll be in the party popper. Fancy pop with a pumpy beer in the brew like soccer. The ops still shots like vodka. Knees up, no popper. Creep with a lumbar, lift and rust to bumper. Any beef we keep dancing proper. Up in a dink line for the block up. Yeah, what a shocker. Some
Yo, Unknown T love chopping up food, son. He dicing up cabbage, chopping up
like
beef.
I'm chopping cabbage.
He love.
rust to bumper. Any beef we keep dancing proper. Up in a dink
So
line
throw
for
it
the
down
block
in the
up.
kitchen,
Yeah,
bro.
what a shocker. Somebody found that mock us. Any beef we keep dancing proper. Up in a dink line for the block up. Yeah, what a shocker. Somebody found that mock us. Scream colour bucker. Lit new price, new Glock, new ball. My feed a rocker. Uptown supper. East, that's HACK, we all the ropes right now, it's a relay. A pagan sign out, no eBay, boom, let brush ride outs, no dealing. Bro's in the front, I'm PK, who said it's us, that's
He's saying so much. This is
East, that's HACK. You talking about Hackney?
East is HAC. Oh, hack, yeah.
Yeah. Haha. I knew a thing.
Good ear. Like, this is one of those tracks where I know things are flying over my head. Like, I know it, right? But I'm trying to focus in on it to get it as it's coming at my head. Like, it's a lot. So good ear.
Somebody found that mocker, scream colour bucker. Lit new price, new Glock, new ball. My feed a rocker. Uptown supper. East, that's HACK, we all the ropes right now, it's a relay. A pagan sign out, no eBay, boom, let brush ride outs, no dealing. Bro's in the front, I'm PK, who said it's us, that's he say, she say. Inject to the max, no TK.
I think PK might be initials for a soccer player.
East,
So
that's
he's in the
HACK,
front.
we all the ropes right now, it's a relay. A pagan sign out, no eBay, boom, let brush ride outs, no dealing. Bro's in the front, I'm PK, who said it's us, that's he say, she say. Inject to the max, no TK, kung for the ops, no chat like PK. Step on timing, dodge the indictments, grab a bulldog, then bite him. G-check, get a drop, then find him. No time for talk, let's blind him. We out. No trace got caught while the pulse inquiring.
That was such a freaking abs thing to do. He said, no talk, just bind him. Bow.
No ops, no chat like PK. Step on timing, dodge the indictments, grab a bulldog, then bite him. G-check, get a drop, then find him. No time for talk, let's blind him. We out. No trace got caught while the pulse inquiring. 6-week trial, the case got tyrant. Fit legs, tick bumps, I'm scheming and dress, that's my thing. Listen, spin it up, block, 1 month trip, straight gliding. They ain't been digit, they just survive. And we get that drop, we don't do no hype. And got shows round his beer, corn been flying. About leader mesh.
Oh, the engineer went crazy.
Exactly. I'm happy to say this is an example of those moments. It's actually you're the one who pointed this out to me, and I started realizing it more. Like how you could tell the difference between when a song has a producer and when a song has a beat maker, right? Like this, you could tell a lot of these tracks were produced. They sat together. They had a creative process in putting it all together. Like some of those smaller things about how certain parts of the beat catches the flow. I feel like it has to be the engineer because like there's certain things where it just feels like he was just flowing like that naturally, and then they match the beat. Because certain things, I don't know, I could be wrong, I've never written a song before, but certain things don't be feeling like they flowed that way to catch the beat. In fact, they made the beat catch him. Yeah. So hearing you say it kind of validates that might be what happened.
I'm scheming and dress, that's my thing. Listen, spin it up, block, 1 month trip, straight gliding. They ain't been digit, they just survive. And we get that drop, we don't do no hype. And got shows round his beer, corn been flying. About leader machine, that's bollocks. No knots can't fall off, it needs some tightening. Nine gang put the stress in the bar, their legs like furrow, we ching like Vikings. East, that's HACK, we all the ropes right now, it's a relay. A pagan sign out, no eBay, boom, let brush ride outs, no dealing. Bro's in the front, I'm PK, who said it's us, that's he say, she say.
I'm torn about this one.
No TK,
So,
for the ops, no chat like PK.
it's the mix that's
East,
really
that's
killing me a lot.
HACK, we all the ropes right now, it's a relay. A pagan sign out, no eBay, boom, let brush ride outs, no dealing. Bro's in the front, I'm PK, who said it's us, that's he say, she say. Inject to the max, no TK, for the ops, no chat like PK.
I'm very torn about this one. Facts, the beat is cold, the beat is hard. The beat is hard. I'm just torn about it. I'm sorry if y'all heard the notification on my computer because I am capturing the computer audio. But yeah, I'm torn about this one. I'm torn about this one.
I feel like I got things to say and also not enough at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like, I think at this point, it's like Unknown T has to try for his flow to not be good. Like he has to make the intentional effort to be basic at this point. That's how I feel at least.
World War II kind of gave us the most like fluid
Yeah.
version of those switch-ups.
Yeah.
I think on this track and
it was more like start and stop.
yeah,
That's what you're saying.
and random
Yeah.
little just sporadic spurts.
I don't think I have anything to nitpick about the beat.
No, not at all.
I think this is an example of one of those very simple beats that are exceptional, right? Again, just those moments of just having the bass catch his own flow. Those little things, and I always say this in my reactions, but for those of you who are new here, like peak level creativity tends to be doing the most with the least. Mid-level creativity tends to be doing all the extra intricate crazy stuff to make it look like you're super advanced. But then once you kind of get over yourself and you start realizing the things that you can remove, that's what somebody like Gotcha has mastered, I think.
Yeah, part of being a creator is also understanding who you're like
creating for.
Yeah, exactly. Like who is actually going to consume this content?
Yeah.
Right. And like, you know, one of the things that made Pop Smoke so popular in our city was just 'cause you just had to vibe with him. Like he didn't have to say much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he knew that he didn't have to get on here and be the hottest rapper in New York City. He just needed to give us a vibe.
Yeah.
And that vibe, when you really look back on it, if you were to actually like take some of Pop Smoke's lyrics and put it on paper and just read it, like, oh wow, this is actually not that impressive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like lyrically. You know what I'm saying? But it was still.
But it's the everything else. It's
everything. Yeah.
It's like we've been saying. It's like you can afford to dial back in some areas if you excel in others.
Like when it comes to like figuring out how to replay this, personally, one, the mix is kind of getting in the way for me.
Yeah.
I feel like his vocals, they're just not as clear, and usually you wouldn't care.
Yeah.
But being that my ears are now trained for those things, it kind of just feels off-putting, like
especially compared to everything else that we've got. It's like to go from the World War II into this
like album quality studio sound.
Yeah,
like,
it's like
this kind of sounds like it was recorded in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, with the kind of sporadic choppy flow, which was still impressive because it's just different in general. Like I feel like for this, the beat was already doing so much that I don't think I really wanted to hear too much of that.
I agree.
Personally.
It's still showing how even Unknown T's weakest can still be above average. He set a high bar for himself.
That is a fact. It's a very similar
sort of kind of
I have not heard Ghosty's tag in a minute.
I'm happy to hear a lot of the big name producers out there. They've been diverting away and tapping into other sounds. They're starting to divert away from their own type beat. A lot of them out there. The Ghosty is one of them.
Listen, man down, now we gotta get equal. Put a foot on it fast, Vin Diesel. Grab a machine, bro, run on the grass, let's do some beat.
What happened?
That was anticlimactic. I'm not gonna lie, that was kind of anticlimactic. I can hear Main's voice coming on this one. It's like this already.
Oh! Somebody! Oh! He needs some milk.
Why did I open Photoshop? Why are you on the floor? He's on the floor. Yo, Frank, wave your hand at the camera real quick. Yo, he's dead ass on the floor. Yo.
That was too perfect.
He's dead ass on the floor. Yo.
No, that was too perfect. That was perfect. I can hear his voice like this already. Yo. Nah, man.
Yo, weak.
Nah, bro. Nah, bro.
Put a foot on it fast, Vin Diesel.
His voice like this already.
Listen, man down, now we gotta get equal. Put a foot on it fast, Vin Diesel. Grab a machine, bro, run on the grass, let's boot some people. If you look like a up, I'll bang this button, surprise, man, press at the review. Man, I'm deceitful, more than the rents made evil. You know, say the hurt rate's lethal. Man down, now we gotta get equal. Put a foot on it fast, Vin Diesel. Grab a machine, bro, run on the grass, let's boot some people. If you look like a up, I'll bang this button, surprise, man, press at the review. Man, I'm deceitful, more than the rents made evil. You know, say the hurt rate's lethal. I made ups when I beef cause I'm rapping. Go pre every single face in a vid, then run out the car and attack him. If we see jigs, I'm dashing. Run out. But plus, I can't remember the days we're shaking acid. But if they
Yo, what's wrong with you, son? I don't even want to make the reference that I want to make. I'll tell you off camera, because I don't want to be insensitive to people who do have certain. Forget, I'm gonna say he has moments that remind you of like Tourette's. Like he just blurts out things.
Yeah, just blows up.
You know what I mean? My apologies to anybody out there if you do happen to have Tourette's or know somebody who does. It was just the quickest comparison I can make to the ways that he just so sporadically just slaps you with these moments. Like, why are you yelling at me, dog? It's like.
Hey, ops wanna beef cause I'm rapping. Go pre every single face in a vid, then run out the car and attack him. If we see jigs, I'm dashing. Oh no. Dot plus, no can't remember the days we were shaking acid. But if they real it, they got pay back rapping. Grip a 2-2, then bang it. Yeah. Ops wanna beef, but they hurt, can't mash him. My bottom's got dirt from the base of the crashing. DSJ's boy, them all he's planning. My escrow plug got the 3-8 spamming. My bitch love say that I changed since I came out of jail, but I've been this savage. The young boys run on the pitch, I'm top on the field, I manage. Man down, now we gotta get equal. Put a foot on it fast, Vin Diesel. Grab a machine, bro, run on the grass, let's boot some people.
This is him making a drill track. He's trying to make like a drilly drill
song. Man, I'm deceitful, you know? More than the rents medieval. You know, say the hurt rates leave. Man down, now we gotta get equal. Put a foot on it fast, Vin Diesel. Grab a machine, bro, run on the grass, let's boot some people. If you look like a melody ain't kind of melody, surprise, man, press at the review. Man, I'm deceitful, more than the rents medieval. You know, say the hurt rates leave.
Diesel all unleaded right there, man's heading. If traffic's congested, this ain't getting suspended. Drivers get bad up for wrong directions. Make them test drive like Top Gear contestants. In this hot ride with 4 co-defendants. If we get guy, can't be no confessions. Take it like a man and just hold this sentence. I can't be you.
I'm not gonna lie, Millions is spinning NOT flow wise. He's kind of spinning him with the flow. I'm not gonna lie.
And his voice is kind of fitting the sound a little bit.
Yeah. This.
Man's made evil, you know, say the
Diesel all unleaded right there, man's heading. If traffic's congested, this ain't getting suspended. Drivers get bad up for wrong directions. Make them test drive like Top Gear contestants. In this hot ride with 4 co-defendants. If we get guy, can't be.
Man said test drive like Top Gear contestants.
Diesel all unleaded right there, man's heading. If traffic's congested, this ain't getting suspended. Drivers get bad up for wrong directions. Make them test drive like Top Gear contestants. In this hot ride with 4 co-defendants. If we get guy, can't be no confessions. Take it like a man and just hold this sentence. I can't be you, I can't be him. You can't be woo, you can't be stims. H turn the traction off, make it skid. I'm the reason there's so much wax in this whip. Gangs 10%, but I'm flat squad bait. Hit overseas, spots, spit phone lines go crazy. Trap mob TP, quick car buy from Haiti. Long AR-15s and 76K. Wow, I can tell that that's the gun boys by the headlights. Quick, what's a quick left right? If they're still following foot down, push it in gear forward and press 5.
Pause. Wait, nah. And it's not to take away from you. I would never want to disrespect somebody like this, but this almost sounds like Millions featuring Unknown T, personally speaking.
I agree.
And
I agree.
I would actually envision Gets on this.
Makes sense. I think this would have been stronger. This would have been stronger if Unknown T saved his verses for other songs, kept him as the hook, and then, as you said, if it was like Gets and Millions,
I could see Gets on this.
I could see like Gets and Millions featuring Unknown T. I agree. Is it Unknown T's best performance? Like between this and East, there's something I actually want to say about East. His performance on them feel like interludes. I wouldn't have minded those hooks if that was the only thing I played. If it was like hook, single verse, maybe the hook again, leave it alone, like under 2 minutes, in and out. But I'm not a fan of this Vin Diesel hook and the East hook. I like East more. But I agree with you. This is feeling like Millions featuring Unknown T a little bit.
Even when Abs was first stepping into the drill scene with a track like Robbery, it was still different from what we were hearing in drill.
At the time, yeah.
So like, imagine Abs on like an early like drill track that Sticks would be spitting on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's kind of like the feeling I'm getting, which sounds a little bit awkward. And I think that sound fits more for somebody like Millions than it does for Unknown T, because Unknown T's voice we now associate with a really bouncy and like white sounding track.
Yeah, I agree. You know what it is? This one I feel like it needed a brighter beat to match his lower tones. Inversely, the darkness of the beat is complemented by Millions. I agree with you. I agree. Although I can say though, even though it's a contradiction, Millions' voice does still tend to do well on brighter beats though. But I agree with you though. This one needed a brighter beat for Unknown T.
16 do it if not
but we'll put that
turn the traction off, make it skid. I'm the reason there's so much wax in this whip. Gangs 10%, but I'm flat squad bait. Hit overseas, spots, spit phone lines go crazy. Trap mob TP, quick car buy from Haiti. Long AR-15s and 76K. I can tell that that's the gun boys by the headlights.
After this, quick, Millions part left right. He's wilding on
if
this.
If they're still following foot down, push it in gear forward and press 5. If you got 6, then do it. If not, then save it for next time. Drivers all banking a wizard at the set time. It's without the beats to the block. Red line.
Man down, now we gotta get equal. Put a foot on it fast, Vin Diesel. Grab a machine, bro, run on the grass, let's boot some people.
I get really disappointed by those kind of hooks. I'm not gonna lie to you, like,
man, I'm deceitful, more than the rap.
I get really disappointed by those hooks. Alright, cool, you're calling it Vin Diesel. Now I'm curious why. And then the reason why is like, put a foot on it fast, Vin Diesel. I'm just like, so you named the whole song after?
That's like 70% of drill though.
I know, but and I don't like it. Even like Jeremy Corbyn by, I believe it was AM, right? It's just like, when you heard what the reference was, I'm just like, so you named the whole song after it? For that one punchline. That's how I'm feeling personally. And it's like, if this was 2017, 18, fine. But once you've given me certain things, like, you can't regress for me, and that to me feels like a bit of a regression. That's just how I feel.
Man's medieval, you know, so the hurt rate's lethal. Man down, now we gotta get equal. Put a foot on it fast, Vin Diesel. Grab a machine, bro, run on the grass, let's boot some people. If you look like a up, I'll bang this button, surprise, man, press at the review. Man, I'm deceitful, more than the rants medieval, you know, so the hurt rate's lethal.
Okay, it's about to be a shift. Because I know Tug Man Vacation, I know Goodums. And with a song called Sweet Lies, I have an idea of how it's about to start pivoting. I don't know how I feel about this.
You know, it's
I don't know.
like you said, they named the track Vin Diesel. There's not really a single like iota of like leaning in that theme.
Yeah, with just the one
Just that
fast
line.
Vin Diesel. Okay.
So it's like, you know, the World War II, like, you know, it's like really the whole hook is like fill up and, you know, refill the recruits or whatever.
Yeah, build up and up. Yeah, that's what you're saying. Yeah.
You know, like it's like it gives it more substance and makes it, you know, easier to see what he's trying to talk about. And then even with the video too in World War II, he's literally walking around with a sniper rifle.
I was thinking about that. I was like, maybe if this one had a visual, I might receive it a little bit better if I seen the visual before the track. But because it's just audio, I'm just like, I really feel like, if I'm being honest, Millions could have saved that verse. Unknown T could have used the hook as an interlude, and then made it like a 1 minute interlude, just kind of shift the pace a little bit, shift the energy a little bit, and then call that a day.
Yeah, I think Millions ate this.
I agree.
That's not to take away from Unknown T's talent at all.
Yeah.
Like anything that he gets on, he's gonna do
It's
something
gonna be
special.
good. Yeah.
And he did do something special here. It just didn't fit.
That's also how these kinds of moments can work better if you curate it in a project, right? So if this was like an album where this song made sense in context, then you can lean back a little bit more because you understand the context. This one is kind of like, could even release this as a single just to put out this for the sake of putting it out there.
I mean, and it also comes to the beat too. Like Ghosty in general, he's been one of the top names in beat production in drill since its roots in the UK.
Yeah.
Right? That's unquestionable. However, I think I know that the sound is shifting more toward like the East Coast US sound, where, you know, they're more bouncy, a little bit more party like.
Yeah.
And this sounded like a weird hybrid between trying to make like that really bouncy party drill track and like still being super dark. Like we're in 2018, and like in comparison to like some of Ghosty's older works, for tracks like Luke Cage for M24, for example, where the beat was not that impressive, like it wasn't super like standoutish, but it sounded like Ghosty. And it was just easy to take in, like, or even like write in, right? Yeah. But like for this, it was just there's another disconnect between like the sound that the drums are giving us and like what the melody is giving us.
That's understandable. But like I said, looking at this lineup, I have an idea as to how this is about to start pivoting. So it's gonna be interesting. I'm curious to hear how this is gonna flip. Yeah, I knew it was gonna be a switch up.
And this is not gonna be drill.
Don't say that. You never know. This might be a sample, and they flip it into a drill song. You never know.
All of a sudden,
my sweet lies, yeah. She keeps stressing while we texting. I keep telling her my sweet lies, my sweet lies, my sweet lies. She fell in love with my sweet lies, my sweet lies, yeah. She keeps stressing while we texting. I keep telling her my sweet lies, my sweet lies, my sweet lies. She loved the taste of my sweet lies. She brown and came in bouging. I love the way she moving. She loved the way I touched her crotch when I was late night cruising. Back then when we were friends, it was like a movie. You used to sit right on my lap and let me touch your coochie. Baby girl, I'm sorry for the lies. I'm wrong and can't deny. My ego's always fucking with my pride. She said, why you gotta lie? The way you heard me fucking with my life.
I don't want no thought. Thought is a bitch who can't get no love from me.
I'm not playing that over. Wow! Oh my god! What a visual! Who's featured on this? Is this a feature? Or is this is all him?
that's it.
Wow! That's all him?
I don't even sound like him. I don't know.
Wow!
Need you in my life. When she calling, I just give her sweet lies. She keep falling for my bittersweet lies. Fuck her slow-mo when I hit it from behind. If you got a boyfriend, please don't waste my time. Baby, please don't waste my time. If you got a boyfriend, please don't waste my time.
Listen.
Fuck a slow-mo and I hit it from behind. My sweet lies, yeah. She keeps stressing while we texting. I keep telling her
This
my
is his
sweet
V9
lies.
His V9 mode?
My sweet lies.
This is the sweet symphony of the song.
My sweet lies. My sweet lies.
Again, knowing that him and Abs are working on things, this would have been a good kind of track for them to do together.
My sweet lies. She loved the taste of my sweet lies. My sweet lies, yeah. She keeps stressing while we texting. I keep telling her my sweet lies.
It's the fact that he kept that for the whole song, by the way. It isn't like he's saying that when it's rapping, he's singing the whole way through.
My sweet lies, yeah. She keeps stressing while we texting. I keep telling her
I gotta give credit where credit's due.
my sweet lies, my sweet lies.
You need songs for the woman for your projects to blow, and for the woman to have a reason to come to your show.
Yeah.
Like, women are going to be looking forward to the moment that a Hummer and B drops. It's just Baby Benny back in the day. They're gonna be looking forward to Sweet Symphony. They'll be looking forward to these moments. And even again, knowing some of these ones coming up, he's smart with how he's positioning his catalog. I'll say that. This is a very rappy kind of rubric, right? These kinds of songs you probably have to rate on like harmony and melody and I don't know. I'm making up a bunch of things, but like it's hard to rate these like how I rate a rap song. I wouldn't listen to it again if I'm not listening to a project. I wouldn't play this. Not because it's bad, I just wouldn't press play on this. If I had to pick between this and Sweet Symphony though, I'll play Sweet Symphony. Sweet Symphony slapped me different. And I have a different emotional attachment to Sweet Symphony. I can't identify with what he's talking about here, so I'm just like, I can't identify with lying to anybody. I understand the context of his life and why he would have to, so I'm just like, I can't relate to it enough for me to want to play it. He could have saved this, had this be a skit of like him in the studio and it playing, and then cutting it shorter so it playing in the background or something like that, and saving this for an album where again you put it within an album and it make more sense in an album. Yeah. See what I mean? And I think that might be one. This one of those if you teased it in the thing, that would have been like, yo, what is that? We got to hear that. Like musically, it's a good song.
Yeah.
Musically, it's a good
this
song.
was one of those that like I don't have an opinion. You don't have to be the best singer to make a song like this in general, and it did sound good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know I sound like I'm just speaking like a third grader, but honestly, there's not really much I could say about this one.
Yeah,
because it's like
it's calm.
Yeah, it's just a thing
it's a calm
that he
song.
did, and it's there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because I know what Tug Man Vacation is, I see the play. I see the transition. I just feel like he probably could have saved this as a transition skit interlude. Because one, I feel like there's a certain way that you receive interludes. You kind of put it as like a hard reset in your head in a project. So it stopping and shifting the tone isn't as jarring if it's in an interlude. So if you would have did that, Tug Man Vacation into Goodums would make perfect sense. But again, it is a mixtape, so I have to step back. I do have to step back, but yeah, that's just my critique and criticism. Yeah. So I've already reacted to this song, so I'm already playing it more so for Frank to be able to get his reaction out, so y'all could see and everything, and also so we can kind of feel the transition between that last song into this one, into the next couple tracks. This is actual girlfriend, by the way.
Yeah, I figured as much.
Yeah, this is his real life girlfriend.
Wow, this is the first time I've seen Unknown T's eyes.
Man, since the first time I seen his eyes because of the angle, I was like, wait, what?
Whoa.
Yeah. You know what he should have did? He should have had Sweet Lies as like the opening song to this video. Like a little snippet of it.
I'm in a what but this Tug Man Vacation, got me missing my lover. I can't move beats, so I call undercover. If Jake's don't free up a tug, don't choose no other. Baby, I'm stressed, friends blew out my butter. Don't know how the past caught up like Usher, but I still blew out the gutter. They hate how I blew out my lover. I'm in a what but this Tug Man Vacation, got me missing my lover. I can't move beats, so I call undercover. If Jake's don't free up a tug, don't choose no other. Baby, I'm stressed, friends blew out my butter. Don't know how the past caught up like Usher, but I still blew out the gutter. They hate how I blew out my lover. Oh my sweet one, keep up on my cheddar. My berries come with a new love letter. Don't cry, be the boy soon home and it soon get better. J last love on my life won't come let my Lume check. She said she needs hugs, so she sleep in my sweater. You keep up and reference, don't slip on my phone, that's pepper. I was in a view in a case of my babe, try grip man, an iPhone, bless her, night more sleep with my desser. I love when she speak with a nice tone, babes, no lie, man, need the pleasure, treasure. They came through on a viz, I'm pissed, no cameras, I didn't expect her. New Year's, I was locked in a gloss, so I couldn't hug you, babes, do you remember the what with this Tug Man Vacation, got me missing my lover. I can't move beats, so I call undercover. If Jace don't free up a tug, don't choose no other. Baby, I'm stressed, feds blew up my butter. Don't know how the past cool up like Usher, but I still blew out the gutter. They hit hard, blew out my lover. I'm in a what with this Tug Man Vacation, got me missing my lover. I can't move beats, so I call undercover. If Jace don't
You know something I want to point out? Pick another frame. I don't want to see, man. You can tell how much prison has really affected Unknown T's perception and perspective on life.
Yeah.
Because he references his experience with prison very often. He's even talked about it a couple times up until this point in the project as well. And you could see that it's really left an impact on him. At the same time, I also respect the fact that, for lack of a better way to put the fact that he's milking that story, because it's giving him content to tell from so many different angles, right? And it's still relatively relevant. I'm not against it. That's something I feel like artists need to start learning how to do in order to stretch out their longevity. Right, that's why concept albums work, because you can pick one snapshot of a story and then tell multiple songs about different angles of that one experience to make a whole project, right? For example, so that's one of the things I think I would like to see more from artists out there, is playing with the conceptual thinking. Like, I would like to see one last Unknown T project, and let this be like the last time we really talked about prison, where it's really about his whole experience,
start to finish.
Like the moment that, like what happened, or what was he thinking the moment that he got arrested. But what were some of the things that happened while he was in jail? That he could talk about some of the conversations that he had, if he even has any of those saved. Kind of like the moment that he had in Sweet Symphony. There's so many things that he can do and an artist can do creatively, like telling the story of that one experience from several people's perspective. Logic did it. Kendrick's done it, right? Jay-Z's done it. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, cool. We know you went to prison, but like, all right, cool. Rap it from the perspective of Billy and V9 and KO. Even if it's like, what if you have a music video where you're rapping from their perspective, but it's dumb, rap like lip syncing it, but that way we get to know, all right, cool. We're hearing their perspective. You see what I mean?
You know what it is too. You know, that's the kind of like level of vulnerability and consistency that you get from somebody like Dave.
Yeah.
And you understand why somebody like Dave is so popular now.
Yeah.
Right? Because Dave is hitting our side. Like I'm hearing people playing songs that not location. I'm talking about like songs that like we thought were like really vulnerable and just like really deep, and people are playing them out loud in their cars out here.
Leslie.
Yeah. So I'm like, the thing that sets certain artists apart is how much of a risk are you willing to take with just telling us who you are on a deeper level? Like, I know at the end of the day, they want some level of privacy because they're human beings.
100%.
Right? I'm just telling you, right? Me being a fan, anybody that's listening that's an artist, like, we want to hear it.
Yes.
Why? Because when it comes to, like, relatability, that's what really makes us, like, really like latch on to an artist. After that, you could release the worst music ever. Yeah. And I'm not saying that, of course, we won't fall off for any at all. But we have lower chances of falling off because now we just have an actual relationship with you, the person.
Yes.
And like, I could see, as you said, if he was to tell like his full story, you got to remember too, he went to prison like at a super young age, like 18,
100%.
right? Like you're a kid. Going into prison,
yeah.
So I can fully understand why this will now become part of the rest of your life narrative.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So to hear that from your perspective, especially from somebody like myself who hasn't been there, like that would be one of those things. Like, wow, I have somebody painting the picture for me, and I actually like the songs on top of that.
Yeah.
You know, that's a different layer.
I agree. Let's get into something we can talk about that.
But I still blew out the gutter. They hit hard, blew out my love. Absent from your peace and man, I need love for my mentals. Babes, this life of a tug is eventful. If I don't entertain, then wait, honey, don't be resentful. Police try cool down my line, I'm stressed now. Gotta come clean like my dentals. Bang up Roman, don't tremble. Rare, they try to cuff me, I'm like gentle. If it's a bird, I'ma fly like Red Bull. She like me, tryna dab up a wig. She patterned her black on business essential. Complete like Bonnie and Clyde, but then I got black and my beat was dreadful. This heart of a tug game for a basic bitch. Trust me, big gal, you're special. Spent dough on my main squeeze, hoes are a baities, rockin' me out in I'm in a what with this Tug Man Vacation, got me missing my lover. I can't move beats, so I call undercover. If Jace don't free up her tug, don't choose no other. Baby, I'm stressed, feds blew out my butter. Don't know how the past cool up like Usher, but I still blew out the gutter. They hit hard, blew out my.
What video does that remind you of? If you could think off the top of your head.
Don't tell me the artist's name, but they were riding around like ghost riding the car or whatever, and then the police like hopped down, put him on the floor. Who was it?
Oh, I was even thinking about that, but
I think you know who I'm talking about.
Probably. See, now I'm trying to figure out what you're talking about, because that was what I was thinking about, but word.
What were you thinking about?
I was thinking about FN by Lil TJ. The scene where they're all in front of the crib and the cops pull up and they throw them on the roof of the car. It was just like this, where it's like the sideways angle and you could see them If you haven't seen that video, I'll play it for you after this. But yeah,
Nah, but there's a drill song I'm thinking of. You know, trust me, you know what I'm talking about.
the only other one I can think of right now is one of the songs by 1-4, Welcome to Prison. The scene when they were little kids and they were depicting them getting arrested as kids. That's the only other scene I could think of. I don't know, but yeah, either way.
Blew out my butter. Don't know how the past call up like Usher, but I still blew out the gutter. They hit hard, blew out my lover. I'm in a walk with this Tug Man Vacation, got me missing my lover. I can't move beats, so I call undercover. If Jace don't free up a tug, don't choose no
I'm
other.
having too much fun.
Baby, I'm stressed, says blew out my butter.
One
Don't
thing
know how
about the
the past
98
call
that
up
said it
like
about
Usher,
G9's
but I
video
still
too.
blew out the
98
gutter.
that's
They
one of the
hit
best
hard, blew out
videos.
my lover.
Because they actually try to make an actual video.
Yeah. Yeah, this is really
So I've already given my thoughts on this song. I haven't really replayed it, to be honest, after doing my initial reactions. I don't know if my score reflects that, but this definitely is one of those where I want to listen to the whole project to listen to this song. I don't think I'll play this one as a one-off, but I could see the value in this one being played as a one-off, especially by women. I could see women enjoying this one as a one-off track. But what do you think?
the flows they were simple and smooth, which is kind of what this sound usually calls for.
Yep.
The beat was like perfect for this sound
kind of
on
song.
top
I
of that.
agree,
Yeah,
I
like
agree.
lyrically, like I can't even nitpick lyrically because of the fact that it's just that kind of song. Like it's
Yeah.
just him being vulnerable and telling a story, and
Yeah.
you can see it almost like a ballad to his woman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I see it like that. I seen it like, you know, this is his version of a love song. I feel like this is what like Sweet Lies was supposed to sound like. And to a degree.
I agree, and that's why I was saying I feel like even with this video, he could have opened it up with like Sweet Lies playing in the background, transitioning into this. Oh wait, what was that song? Or even if he closed out with that playing in the end, and then for this project, Sweet Lies could have just been a teaser interlude in the studio playing in the background or conversation, something like that, or even just a snippet. Because sometimes people do that where they use a snippet of a song, of a future song as an interlude, and then again to set that pace and set that tone. Into this one. This one has the balance of both. He probably could have sang more on this to kind of give that extra punch, like like what Abs does.
The one thing that would have really hit me, and this would have been like a 10 after that, is if the hook was something similar to like Throwback. Where he comes with those inflections in his voice where he's not necessarily singing, but that would have hit different. Because the story itself and the visual attached already made me look at him like, damn, bro. You know what I mean? But if he was to hit us with like a hook that was just like, you know, something that was just like just a something.
I would also be lying to myself if I didn't say that maybe having the visual makes it hit a little bit differently too, because you have something else to kind of stimulate your attention in your mind.
Yeah.
At the same time, I think if I was just listening to it, it might not have done it for me. But it makes sense for what it's supposed to be. 100%. So I've already done a reaction to Goodums, so y'all can make sure you check that one out. We both think it's perfect. It's one of those, again, when we're in the car, you play that, it slaps. It slaps different. It's perfect. I like the obviously the double entendre in it. It's just a great track. There's really nothing to really say about it if we're keeping it on it. Like,
I mean, the first time I heard it on Colors, like actual live performance, I wasn't a big fan, but you know, hearing it like studio recorded, where they actually, you know, worked on the melody a little bit and made it a bit more consistent and sound like, you know, more tailored to his voice. Fell in love with it immediately. That track is literally perfect.
It's gold. There's really nothing else to say. And we also listened to this upcoming interlude as well. Again, having interludes can help make the shifts in energy make sense. So even though the tone may not fully like match like the love theme, the fact that we're slowing it down, going to this prayer, it's a really dope little touch into this project, shifting the tone of it, kind of dialing back from the slightly more aggressive tones that we got earlier. Even the way that he was singing Goodums was really aggressive. So to kind of come from that into this really soft, it's a grandmother's voice, you feel me? And then seeing what the title of this next one is, it makes sense. This is how you are able to shift the energy in a track intentionally. That's why not a track, in a whole project, to do it intentionally and just make it flow right. So I want to hear what the actual song is gonna sound like now.
Facts.
And off rip, the way that this kicks off right after the interlude, perfect.
Yeah.
This thing's about to be interlude itself. It's just under 2 minutes.
I would really like this to be a drill beat. I kind of hope it's a drill beat.
It's a new genre.
I love Chris Rich.
Listen,
Wholesome drill.
Mumsy told me
All
to
right.
always revise that script.
Wholesome drill. New genre.
That's it.
You're right.
That's it.
You're right. You're right.
And didn't I say as long as you hear anything string related, it could be a guitar, it could be a violin,
You're
it could
right.
be whatever. It's going to be a Chris Rich beat.
You're right. This is bread and butter. You're right.
You're gonna have to start paying me, bro.
I didn't even get paid.
What's up, my Chris Rich?
Oh, I didn't even get paid up for this. These album reactions? Ha!
I am weak.
I'm talking about 10 plus copyrighted
I
tracks.
love Chris Rich.
Listen, Mumsy told me always revise that
not
script
even
is
true.
essential. Bible love, stop acting tough, go keep your credentials. Babe, stay care, cause your body's a temple. Time flies by, but I still ain't treating my mentals. Locked in a marsh with pencil.
This is what that other one could have been. I get it though, and we needed that. The project needed that sound. But I'm already disappointed about how short this is. The other one could have been this short, and this one could have been the length of that other one. Sweet Lies. I don't want to disrespect this. I just remember it's called Sweet Lies.
I love Chris Rich.
Listen, Mumsy told me always revise that script is essential. Bible love, stop acting tough, go keep your credentials. Babe, stay care, cause your body's a temple. Time flies by, but I still ain't treating my mentals. Locked in a marsh with pencils. Free all my guys laughed up to they old like Denzel. Yo, free all my guys laughed up to they old like Denzel. Life been eventful, pride and trust in my heart, cool luck, oh my God, so special, oh so special. Gotta keep my potential. Pre-Psalms 1 on 4-6, praise up the Lord, thank Jesus. Imagine me not in a rap scene, that would have been the
Abs and Unknown Team did the whole tape together. Their styles mesh too well.
my potential. Pre-Psalms 1 on 4-6, praise up the Lord, thank Jesus. Imagine me not in a rap scene, that would have been detrimental. Mumsy stressed up to shine like bezels. Mumsy told me always revise that script is essential. Bible love, stop acting tough, go keep your credentials. Babe, stay care, cause your body's a temple. Time flies by, but I still ain't
See, he's
treating my
doing
mentals.
on this
Locked
one,
in a
but I
marsh
said he
with
should have did on the other one.
Free all my guys laughed up to they old like Denzel. Yo, see I came true from a Red Bull to an idol. Had to learn death signs from my blood bros. Mum, now he's gone, it's a vicious cycle. Turn my pain up, now the work rate's vital. Bible blind, see man in denial. I got love for my grandma, time is a up, don't know if she's round for a while. I need me a pen in denial. Yo, we know they know the clips get shelly. Pain in my membrane, rest up shaky. It's unknown T, had to show auntie that I'm known on telly. Me and my bro at our last
It's Unknown T at a show on T that I'm known on telly. Like those small technical things, man. It's Unknown T at a show on T that I'm known on telly. This one, in my opinion, is what Sweet Lies could have and should have been. The roles should have been flipped, yo. Damn, I wish this was a longer track.
Yeah, I want to hear more of this. Yeah.
Flipping hell.
know she's round for a while. You don't need me a pen in
You know who I
denial.
could picture getting on this track too? KO.
Yes, especially with the style that KO has been on lately. Yes, and because their voices and styles are so similar, DA.
Yeah.
Honestly, the whole of the flipping 98.
Yeah, they could have jumped on here.
Chubbs and Billy could have sang.
Facts.
And harmonized. Even V9 could have had a bit of this if he decides to really take something like actually seriously and really been like, maybe if he would choose to be like, you know what, acknowledging that I've been giving y'all this, but here's how I'm really feeling, or here's what I'm really thinking, or here's why I give this persona, blah blah blah. Or maybe he could not be on it. But I agree with you. The 98s in general all could have found a corner of this. Remix?
We know they know the clips get shelly. Pain in my membrane, rest up shaky. It's unknown T, had to show auntie that I'm known on telly. Me and my bro at our last convo in a Bailey.
I'm about to tweet that at him right now.
Plain rose gold, all a Daytona, real busy. Flex could have pain too heavy. Mumsy told me always revise that script is essential. Bible love, stop acting tough, go keep your credentials. Babe, stay care, cause your body's a temple. Time flies by, but I still ain't treating my mentals. Locked in a marsh with pencils. Free all my guys laughed up to they old like Denzel.
Special.
That one was... There was so much to be desired here. The beat was perfect. The beat was beautiful. What he was talking about, like, I love it. Like, the concept of, like, him saying, his mother saying, yo, stop playing tough. Go read your Bible. It shows the other side of the lives of people who we know from drill, right? Like, the other real part of their lives. Like, the real conversations that they have with other people in their life. That's what I've been wanting to hear more of. Like, what are the things that you talk about with your sister, with your aunt, with your cousin, with your... You know what I mean? Like, the people who aren't on road. Like, how does the life that you have to navigate with them match up with the life that you are living outside of them? These are all little things that can be made into whole concept albums.
Yeah, because they're humanizing experiences. You know, Good Kid, Mad City, I will always refer back to that album because it is literally the perfect conceptual album.
It's the perfect concept
right?
album.
And the thing is,
perfect.
Even in the midst of some of the skits, it literally opens up with a prayer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That was the first thing that the prayer before this reminded me of.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, at the end of the day, you know, Kendrick Lamar doesn't try to market himself as like the biggest gang member or whatever, you know, but he does allude to the fact that has been part of his experience. Like,
100%.
He's been around it long enough. So like to hear a project like that where he can jump in and out of, all right, well, you know, this is the part of me and my youth breaking into people's homes and stealing their Nintendo to me sitting down with my grandmother or whoever after my brother gets shot and killed, and she's sitting us down and she's like, you guys need to calm down, let's say this prayer. Like,
I don't like when people say, oh, we need an XYZ version of, but I would like to hear a UK project that's analogous to Good Kid, Mad City, because there's so many artists who've given us inklings of it, where if they just fully tap into their creativity and sit down with it and really take their time, go off the grid for a while, really take your time. Honestly, I think if nobody does it, David's probably gonna do it first. But like the whole of the 98s, they could do something where they pick one scenario and it's different people from the 98s talking about their perspective of that same story, or like the opening song could be like the build up to a scenario before the actual like peak, the climax of it. Then we go back into different people's day leading up to that moment of that particular scenario. And the last song could be like all of them rapping about that scenario from their perspective in one big track. There's so many things that the 98s can do, so many things that all of them could do out there. There's so many concepts they could tap into.
We have Unknown T, who's publicly, you know, we know he's been to prison. He has that whole narrative he can tell us, and he gives it to us in tidbits already.
And beyond that, falsely accused. So
falsely accused on top of that, and at a young age. There's so many layers that are added to it. Like somebody like V9, who we look at like he's not a joke, but I'm just saying he takes things like they're jokes, right? And usually, you know, we know just from a mental health standpoint, there tends to be the person that laughs a lot and jokes a lot that's going through the most things.
100%.
So it's like, if you could really just tap into yourselves as individuals, come together and give us like this one, even if you don't want to give me a project, I will take one of those long 10-minute, 12-minute tracks that we used to hear. You know what I'm saying? Where all of y'all just dump out your story.
Or even they do a short film, like a short film song. The light at the end of the tunnel, this will be my last point, with moments like this, is that it goes to show what we could get in the future.
Yeah.
If you can give us this in a little bit of this in 2 minutes, just under, there's hope. There's definitely hope. Yeah, man. I want to hear what No Forgiveness is going to be now, because this kind of like biblical-ish, kind of like introspective, kind of. Yeah, let's hear what's up. Let's hear what's up. Similar vibe, strings. Who's on production?
Hey, yo.
You know what this is? This is the Addicts moment.
Yeah.
This is the Addicts moment. That moment where that bouncy beat just slaps you. You're just like, whoa, what is this? He needs to do a whole album with no drill, just these kind of beats. I think it would work. Unknown T and Ab should do a tape. Unknown T and Potter Paper should do a tape.
Sun came out, I made it turn a winner. The rock ain't foul. You know these roads a bit that there's no forgiveness. No feelings on this road to riches. Rolls Royce got it short for driven.
Run it back. What?
No face, no trace, gangster punching, come and bathe like babe. Keep pounds in the bass, re-up.
Yo, spin that. Oh my god.
Sun came out, I made it turn a winner. The rock ain't foul. You know these roads a bit that there's no forgiveness. No feelings on this road to riches. Rolls Royce got it short.
You know what this is making me think? Unknown T and Travis Scott.
Someday. Hopefully.
Unknown T and Travis, because
I made it turn a winner.
yeah, I'm gonna take it later.
The rock ain't foul. You know these
I mean, it wouldn't be unheard if Pop Smoke did it.
Yeah, 100%. Because it's like,
No face, no trace, gangster punching, come and bathe like babe. Keep pounds in the bass, re-up on the stamp, then step on the flake. You focus on yaks, I don't do dinner dates. We cut the D.I. place, more time I'm too Uber like Drake. Police on my clout, I'm black nights, make or break. Bro, just hit up or up on crash, time to go to the shake. You can't ring chat, that's big. My bass from my tool and she told me behave, never lack on my prize on stake. Crack Houdini, your pep rock genie. Kick gal on a T-bone with steak. Yo, that's a mistake, them man can't jump on the wig, man.
T-bone with steak. Oh, T-bone.
That nice make or break. Bro, just hit up or up on crash, time to go to the shake. You can't ring chat, that's big. My bass from my tool and she told me behave, never lack on my prize on steak. Crack Houdini, your pep rock genie. Tick gal on a T-bone with steak. Yo, that's a mistake, them man can't jump on the wave, man. Been in the trap like Nate.
Sun came out, I made it turn a winner. The rock ain't foul. You know these roads a bit that there's no forgiveness. No feelings on this road to riches. Rolls Royce got it short for driven.
This makes me want to do that.
Yeah, money come either way. Friends outside trying to build a cage. Stressed out so they won't free my maze. Still praying he beat his case.
Re-up, I love me a gal with a ass, but I hate when a booty's fake. My time
I like back and forth. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
I'm toxic, feelings are raised.
Right along, my brother still shoot if I'm right or wrong. Like the drum.
I like them when they're good.
Yeah.
This is good.
We had two some Ryzen coats, the whip got pulled, cause we Ryzen toast.
Ryzen toast, man, eat ghost, man, still
Rock with a stainless
cold,
steel
this
for
is
the
cold.
gang, them yanks, they two souls back on a random. Ops been abandoned. I turn my hometown gold, one day I'ma turn that platinum. Rise up the cannon, gather my homeboys, pattern the budge, no bannon. Get slapped, you're chatting. Black flip cool in abundance, cause we don't ration.
sun came out, I made it turn on when I'm in. The rockin' foul. You know these roads a bit and there's no forgiveness. No feelings on this road to riches. Rolls Royce got it short for driven. Rose rolling in these stones eating. Yeah. Sun came out, I made it turn on when I'm in.
Artists that can make strong hooks by themselves, I like when they get another artist to do their hook. Like this was a very good placement for this hook.
That's a fact.
Like M Honcho could have did it. A bunch of people could have did this hook. But, like in terms of this style, a lot of people could have did this hook. This was the perfect pairing for this hook.
This track was very refreshing.
Very like it's like this weird kind of dip that the project had, right? It was like all right, cool. We know this. A little bit of a dip. Now it's kind of because Wonderland is next. I love Wonderland. I don't know about you. Wonderland is one of my favorite unknown.
You know what's funny is that this song felt like Wonderland Part 2.
In my mind, I was saying M Honcho could have even been on the hook for this too. So hearing these two back to back makes sense because M Honcho is one of the other people who I had in my mind as being able to potentially do this song. The beat, the flow again, classic Unknown T. Nothing that really super duper pushed the boundaries, but I think again when you have other aspects that compensate or that are doing a lot, you have to do a lot with it. The beat was phenomenal here. Lyricism again, this isn't a song that you need to be lyrical on. He has lyrical moments, but this isn't that kind of song.
That's a fact.
Isn't that kind of song, but it's perfectly replayable to me. Yeah, this one woke me up.
Yeah, this is a sound. Like
this woke me up.
This drill is already one of his like sounds hand down, right?
Yeah.
Of course, it makes sense. That's where he started. But like this little like bouncy bright trap sound is like really also him. Like
yeah.
And when he does, pair that with another feature with somebody who has a lighter voice to it, it adds a really nice balance. That's why, like you said, it gave you that Addicts feel.
Yes.
Because that's exactly what Addicts was like. Just having somebody with a bit of a lighter voice with that bounce, it's just perfect balance. Perfect balance.
Perfect balance. This one. Yeah, I need more of this. This one could have been 3 minutes, man. I would have been happy with this one being 3.5 minutes or so.
The melody on this beat was crazy.
Mod. Yeah, job well done. So Wonderland is one of my personal favorite Unknown T songs as well. It is one of my favorites from this project, keeping it 100. I was actually saying to Frank off camera, I think that Unknown T picked the perfect songs to be singles for this project. I think that there are others that also probably could have been singles. Like I think that the collab with Potter could have been a single, and even the last track could have been a single. But I also like those songs to be those hidden gems that you get as you listen to the project.
I gave credit where credit was due for the track. It was special and it was different, especially for the drill sound. Of course, there's always that big conversation. Oh, it's not drill. It's,
yeah.
I know it's not necessarily like the most gritty and like gruesome, track, but at the end of the day, too, it is on a drill beat.
Yeah.
So like, it's one of those like, it was one of those like really creative sounds coming out of the drill theme. In general, and it was one of those that like I listened to a couple of times. I enjoyed them the first few times, like the first few listens. And then like after a while, it didn't get bad. Of course, the song itself is still great, but like it did get annoying.
I understand. I get it.
Like,
I get it.
So over time, like just listen to it less. But I still think it for what it was, it gave us exactly what we needed to get from it. That new kind of like singing on the hook type sound.
Yeah.
Now.
I get it.
And it was done pretty well.
I agree. This is a great collab. I want to hear how he's gonna close up this project because I see the direction that it's going towards, and I like it so far. This is interesting.
A reversed melody.
Good ear, yeah. It is reversed. Does this have a feature on it? Let me see if it has a feature.
Oh my god.
No feature. Who is the producer?
Listen, I got 300 when I do no speeding.
I'm sorry, please, run it back. Please. I was so caught up in that whole sequence just now.
This is another one of those hidden gems on this project. This is a very top and bottom heavy project.
Yeah.
Feels like the top was like, here's what you can expect. The middle was just like, hey, some things you might get in the future. And the bottom was just like, yeah, let me close this out strong. What are your thoughts of the beat? Because this beat is probably one of the best ones on the project so far.
That little sequence right there, bro. I couldn't even listen to him start. Even with him saying, listen, I still just couldn't listen just now.
I get it. Bro. This one is mod. This one is mod. This sounds like a beat that's probably going to be a drill beat not made by a drill producer. And I think there's moments where I don't like that.
Got 300 when I do no speeding.
But it's
Phone
doing
me
well.
blue from meeting. Deceiving up boys keep on repeating. You ain't mash work, stop cheating. I'm in Ealing, gear mode. Me and my sweet thing, gal phone me for the cheating. Gun beating, waving my hand, no greeting. We block them back in the evening. My soldier plans good, that's like Flora, OT smoke. I'm
This is one of those that deserves a wheel up. What I was gonna say before is like there's moments when I don't like when you could tell a drill beat was made by somebody who doesn't make drill primarily. This is one of those where I'm kind of appreciating it more because you're getting sounds that you wouldn't get from those other producers who kind of have this cut and paste sound.
Listen, I got 300 when I do no speeding. Phone Louis Blue from meeting. Deceiving up boys keep on repeating. You ain't mash work, stop cheating. I'm in Ealing, gear mode. Me and my sweet thing, gal phone me for the cheating. Gun beating, waving my hand, no greeting. We block them back in the evening. My soldier plants goodness like Flora, OT smoke, I'm swinging my Zora, Tora, my uptown fizz Motorola, book gal drip but she wore Pandora, boaster, ops can't talk, I'm blocking to me and my billboard poster. Grab their blood, let me bust that closer, slap it with no composure. There's like 5 black men and a ding Toyota, running the pitch like Zola, Corona, mask on grip on the toes of the pagans, know about the roller.
This is giving me vibes of like the early sound of drill with an experimental sound with the newer sound all in one.
I'm so glad. I was thinking the same. I'm like, nah, this is kind of like that Chicago-esque flow, but like new sound and drill.
Yeah, it's so many things mixed up in this in one. And again, I can tell this producer probably doesn't primarily make drill, which some people have the feelings about when that happens, and I get it. What I like about it is that again, you get somebody who has experience in other sounds, transitioning some of those in, or more so transitioning more so the key elements of drill out into something else to give you these hybrids.
Word, it's just like Fabio's part in like, you know, Off the Grid.
Yeah.
That was probably one of like the most special sounding drill like portions of a beat I've heard all year.
I agree.
And that's Kanye's track.
I agree.
Madonna, hard phone, whip up the Yola, kosher, fizz up the ends, no cola. Twos man bucking to use with a different persona. Call me the rockstar plug, gal feeling the tug love, Tuesday I'm black like Detto. Be with my leg roll, black in the vessels, me I need pesos, 9s and pep phones. Lie up, selfish, your business for guns, my yo this Bedine sweet one wanna get bone. Gal see me on the metro, damn the Raleigh want my medals. Bad man doing big man business than Gotti, multiply properly. Ops one dash, pretty gal one shocky. One hand ting on the glad, turn GM to duppy. See the ops uncomfy, pull up on
Turn GM to duppy. I was actually just telling my mom about the context in which duppy is used in the UK and in Jamaican slang, and how, because we were talking about how Caribbean words that have roots in like West African dialects, and how the word for duppy is actually adope or something like that in one of the languages that's based in modern day Ghana. Forgot which one it is, right? But the word for it means like something like dwarf, but then dwarf specifically refers to spirits over there. So like the word adope, something along those lines. If I'm mispronouncing it, I'm sorry. It's how we get duppy in the Caribbean, and then from the Caribbean it went right back to the UK, and then you have to spell like unknown T, who's not Jamaican, right? So that this full circle transition of language, you feel me? It's so interesting.
dash pretty gal one shocky. One hand ting on the glad, turn GM to duppy. See the ops uncomfy, pull up on fuck with the whap, got beat out, you're lucky. One brat man finna fry up Kentucky, swing off my blade like Chucky. Bro done flew out the car and bappy, brat pop lift up your hat like Dappy. Man turn up with he gal, turn up with nuts and Maggie. Lips get shelled in the nighttime, bills and my bros in trackies. Bentley drop bad things in the backseats. Montclair on the top, man spend all their guns on taxis. Lamb chop top gear tryna cut through traffic, your T-line and your careers on my jacket. If bro tryna do man bait, then of course I'll back it. Don't ask for the clapping, you're too interactive. Slap no chick gang, shoot up a rat. Gal know my face beat, she don't know I'm a GM. I style like I'm patterned by apples. Call me the rockstar plug, gal feeling the tug love. Tuesday I'm black like Detto.
I can hear somebody like, I can hear Kanye West on this. I can hear his voice jumping in on this.
Business for guns, my yo this Bedine sweet one wanna get bone. Gal see me on the metro, damn the Raleigh want my medals. Bad man doing big man business than Gotti, multiply properly. Hops one
it
dash,
definitely just give me that almost end of album vibe. It gives me that like slowing down.
Uncomfy, pull up on fuck with the whap, got be out.
Kind of like how Conflict of Interest started to wind down, but get up at the same time towards the end. It's definitely that transitional sound, like it's transitioning towards the end, kind of energy. Yeah, sure.
Wow. This reminded me of Squeeze and Bust.
Yes. You know what? No, I'm lying. Now that you say it, yes, I was thinking about Squeeze from Gets. But you're right, Squeeze and Bust, yes, 100%. This track was really dope. I enjoyed it a lot personally. It has that kind of Kanye-ish feeling to it. The busyness in it, I could see it turning some people off a little bit. I will say though, this does have the makings of a transitional song in a project, right? I would have gladly taken a minute off of this track to give 30 seconds each to, which one was it? To Bible Love and to No Forgiveness. I think this is a very good way to transition into the outro, the last song, and then just kind of give you inklings again of maybe sounds that we can get from the future. I don't think Unknown T necessarily shined in any capacity in this track, but the beat did a really good job.
This was one of those that was packed with energy.
Yeah.
And honestly speaking, that's pretty much most of what it came with.
Yeah. Energy, delivery.
It's a very energetic beat. Yeah. You had a very energetic delivery.
Yep.
If I'm honest, I didn't really catch much of what he was saying.
Yeah, I agree. There's some moments like I could hear you saying stuff, but like it really just kind of felt like standard Unknown T at this point. Like you can kind of hear him getting bored with drill or with drill topics in the traditional delivery of them.
Yeah, this is for what it's worth, it's still one of those things that, like, you know, if I hear it play, as you said, like if it was to come on while I'm listening to the project top to bottom, I'm gonna listen to it. I just don't know if I'd run to listen to it by itself because of just how busy it is.
Yeah,
and,
that's understandable.
You know, it's always easier for me to give something high replay value when I feel like I can relate to it to some degree.
That's fair.
And I don't necessarily know what the narrative was for this track.
Yeah, I think I can say that for a couple of them. I think in general, these tracks in general did a good job of having narratives associated with them, or some kind of cohesiveness. Maybe not necessarily a narrative, but a layer of cohesiveness. Yeah, I think it's great though. I think Unknown T at this point he's very incapable of making bad music. Now it's just a matter of whether or not the song is for you or not. And I think this one is riddled with like, here's what I'm giving y'all in the future, kind of inklings, and it's a mixtape, so I can accept that. You feel me? Kind of showing you like, hey, don't get too tired of me. I still got some tricks up my sleeve. Yeah, but let's see how he closes it out. I know this one is a collab with Digga D, I think. I've always heard the first half a second on it on Walks Your Streams, and I always automatically mute it. But I know this is a pretty strong track because Walks is playing it on the stream, so gotta be good. So let's see what it's saying. Glee. Every time I hit him, I hit it. Glee. I know to mute it on the stream. 1, 4.
We been in the streets. If you run up on me, then I'm up in my Glee.
This is Digga D, by the way. This is Digga frickin' D.
Listen, always run from the Glee, cause we been in the streets. We went from motives to studio, and I got no time. The bills come tongue, cause we Glee on repeat. Grip a dusty, back. They all stunk my.
Yeah. Glee. Yeah.
We been in the streets. If you run up on me, then I'm up in my Glee.
Listen, always run from the Glee, cause we been in the streets. We went from motives to studio, and I got no time in the week. The bills come tongue, cause we Glee on repeat.
Glee in the background. Those little things make differences, bruh.
Grip a dusty one, so they all look stunk, my lengthing sweet. She heard man's cuff free, gal 1G. Yo, shit, then my heart gone free.
Speak with your chest out, rip it open, fill up the barrel and smoke him. Must have thought I was joking when I said don't get comfy and go. 4 or more when I hold him, don't assault him. Soak him, if you don't poke him, I'll poke him. Take away his contract quick and revoke him.
See the T, yeah.
Take away his contract quick and revoke him.
He ain't talking about no damn music contract, man. Says you're revoking his life.
Yep.
Back to sender. Another two who need to do a project together. They have hella good chemistry. Because they have genuine chemistry in real life. So it shines through in their music. But yo, Digga.
Soak him, if you don't poke him, I'll poke him. Take away his contract quick and revoke him.
See the T, yes, she got my bloodstream running. Warrant to kick that drumming. They ain't found shit, but of course we're running. DJ team tryna do blue clues on us, ain't that cute, thought we ain't on nothing. The Rams untucked and a kickback strumming. No chit chat, rap just splattered. The hops love talk that their wounds need numbing.
Whatever the weather, bro, I ain't too bothered. The G-lot that we got is that 19. Spread this virus, I'm calling it COVID. I'm whipping a flit till it's solid. The dotty I've got made me walk with a hunch. Slap one, leave the crime scene horrid. Heard a bang and won't throw in a punch.
I'm pretty sure Hunch and Horrid are members of CGM.
The G-lock that we got is a 90. Spread this virus, I'm calling it COVID. I'm whipping a flick till it's solid. The dotty I got made me walk with a hunch. Slap one, leave the crime scene horrid. Heard a banger, won't throw in a punch. Point blank, hit Duke in his forehead.
Streets, if you run up on me, then I'm up in my Glee.
Masterpiece.
Yes. Yes.
Listen, rock with a ZK, still tryna ZK. Pop off your block, fuck a leg day. Nothing got a touch, but they're still tryna get way. New blocks, wanna beat on my block, let's press play. See, it's mad how that man fall off like segways. I see a man board up, get tech.
Man said fall off like segways.
Go, bro, don't be off a dum-dum, free up the whole pumpy. Hit the magnum, rim it the whack.
Come back, bring it back. That's it. That's a masterpiece. Clap, man, like a round of applause.
Now you remember a bar from the beginning of the damn project.
1-4. We been in the streets. If you run up on me, then I'm up in my Glee. Glee, 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 glee.
This is dance like this.
Listen, always run from the Glee, cause we been in the streets. We went from motives to studio, chewing, I got no time and no beat. The bills come tongue, cause we play on repeat. But Dusty once, they all look stunned.
Get Two-Face in the video.
She heard man's come free, get 1G.
Yo,
shit, them my heart gone free.
speak with your chest out, rip it open, fill up the barrel and smoke him.
I even
What's
hear
the
when
thought I was
niggas don't
joking
sing
when I
this
said
dance.
don't get comfy and go. 4 or more wanna hold him, don't assault him. Soak him, if you don't poke him, I'll poke him. Take away his contract quick and revoke him.
See the TSG got my bloodstream running. Warrant to kick that drumming. They ain't found shit, but of course we're running. DJ team tryna do blue clues on us. Ain't that cute, thought we ain't on nothing. The Rams untucked and the kickback strumming. No chit chat, rap just splatter. The ops love talk that their wounds need numbing.
Whatever the weather, bro, I ain't too bothered. The G-lock that we got is a 90. Spread this virus, I'm calling it COVID. I'm whipping a flick till it's solid. The dotty I got made me walk with a hunch. Slap one, leave the crime scene horrid. Heard a banger, won't throw in a punch. Point blank, hit Duke in his forehead.
Streets, if you run up on me, then I'm up in my Glee.
Listen, rock with a ZK, still tryna ZK. Pop off your block, fuck a leg day. Nothing got a touch, but they're still tryna get way. New blocks, wanna beat on my block, let's press play. See, it's mad how that man fall off like segways. I see a man board up, get tech way. Helicopters in the air, plus red tape. Told bro, don't be off a dum-dum, free up the whole pumpy. Hit the magnum, rim it the whap, go. Told my babes, I'm chat with every low key. Velo.
These are the things that I want to hear.
It's a masterpiece.
These layers of creativity, like, they're not really saying much. When I say they're not saying much, meaning there's no message, there's nothing, but it's in the execution. The execution is just chef's kiss. This is a perfectly executed song, bruh.
That's
Get
what
tech
that
way.
means.
Helicopters in the air, plus red tape. Told bro, don't be off a dum-dum, free up the whole pumpy. Hit the magnum, rim it the whap, go. Told my babes, don't chat with the Glee low key. Velo, we can eat home, come to my new ensuite. Your views on chatting, she might get hacker on you. Chanel plus wax, the boots are unseen. Girl, your cheap on sweet, baby girl, love Glee. Ain't a length toy, them boy run and retrieve.
That's big one what back over
Watch the
sounded like
Rolex
on
plate, or that gal ain't cheap. Stop the cap,
We
people
been
in the streets.
streets. If you run up on me, then I'm up in my Glee.
Glee. Yo, this is perfect! Yo!
Hey.
Nah, don't do that. This is one hell of an outro. This is one hell of a flippin' outro. 1-4. You know what I want to do? I want to make a master mix, like a master playlist of Adolescence and Rise Above Hate. I'm gonna call it like Rise Above Adolescence or something like that. Like, yo. This could have done well as an intro and as an outro.
That's a fact.
But I think as an intro, it would have set the bar a little too high, though. It would have set the bar way too high. From the top, the flows, nothing about the flows stood out. Again, it's the deliveries, how they were saying the things, and the tones of voice, and the click. In fact, that's Digga's voice, bruh. Right? Obviously, they probably played around with some of the settings, you know what I mean? Playing around with some of this, but it's his voice doing it, nonetheless. You feel me? The beat, Mazza. Unknown T and R14 are again. I'm probably gonna make a video about that, like undefeated duos in drill, Abs and Hills, or H1K, or like Unknown T and R14, or like Russian Gotcha, like those kind of like undefeated duos. This is one of them. And R14, shout outs to you if you happen to see this for any reason, because he's another one of those producers where he finds ways to not get stale. You know, some producers like you hear, it's like, I know who that is, because it's kind of rinse repeat. Like R14,
he's not stuck in a box yet.
I think R14 and Unknown T, they probably have very good chemistry together in the studio.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the strengths and also the weakness of like somebody like a Chris Rich, right? Like it's a double-edged sword. Granted, Chris Rich has never given us a bad beat in general, but like you know what a Chris Rich beat is, but when it comes on. R14 to a degree, he kind of has that similar like bright sound when it comes to melodies, but you never know what the drums are gonna sound like. Yeah. We're R14 like this, you jumped in and out of drill, like you don't know what he's gonna give you. But yeah, I agree. Just like I think the 98s and the Chris Rich are a match made in heaven. I also believe Unknown T specifically and R14 are a match made in heaven. Yeah. Lyrically, it is what it is. I think this was just one of those like it was a vibe. Like there's nothing wrong with just being a vibe. I always want to say that like there's nothing wrong with just being a vibe. I'm here for it. Honestly. You know, I don't think anything was left like to be desired. Like it's just I love what I got and I don't want anything more than this. Yeah.
They could have did a back and forth, but more of a back and forth, and then flipping the flows and everything, right? Or even like hearing Unknown T do Digger's flow and the Digger do an Unknown T flow, something like that. If it was too lyrical of a song, it would have been overwhelming because like you got so much other things going on to get you giddy. But I don't care. I love it. This is a great track. This is a great outro to the project. Right. Yeah, this one.
You gotta give it to him.
Gotta give it to him. I think honestly we can start giving our final thoughts on the project too. I think top to bottom, it had a valley, right? It had like this kind of low swing. I felt like that low swing was mostly preparing us for future. A lot of experimentation in here, so I can respect the fact that this was marketed and pushed as a mixtape and as an album. I think a lot of these smaller layers they played with can be extracted and expanded upon to make future projects, and it can be blown up to make several tapes and albums. A lot can be done. The moments that hit me harder than the combined moments that hit me in Rise Above Hate. Right, I think like on like the standalone moments, I think as a whole, Rise Above Hate is probably a little bit more well-rounded, top to bottom. There was one prison moment for me in Rise Above Hate. It was prison. This one I didn't necessarily have a prison moment, but I had a lot of moments that got me that kind of hype. You feel me? Like prison to this day is still again my favorite Unknown T song.
My final thoughts for this project, me personally, I would have left out all the singles that dropped, and I feel like I could have built an EP with what was left.
Or several.
Yeah, like something like 2200, Trenches. I could see maybe you could even sneak East in there. Even though East wasn't one of my favorite moments on the project, it fits in with kind of like the sound that we were hearing. And when we get toward like the lower end of the project, a track like this, like I could have just taken probably 5 or 6 of those tracks and just going, you know what? Let me just give them a little something, and it all would have just been hard hitting. That's the thing. Granted, I do understand that this is probably just an experiment, as you said. There's certain pieces where he's just like, let me just see what I can do with this sound. But it was one of those like, if you held back certain things and just did it later, and just sat down on it for a little bit,
or teased
you could have, you could have easily like taken some of this content, expanded on it, remixed some of these tracks, and probably even created a full-blown album. In comparison to Rise Above Hate, I can't say I like this more, mainly because Rise Above Hate, I actually forgot was a tape. Like,
same thing.
Rise Above Hate has one of those like listening experiences from top to bottom.
That feels like an album. I agree.
I think the only track I actually would skip to this day is Mortal Kombat.
I agree.
And that's just from personal preference. It's not even a bad song. This is one of those projects where there are songs for me that might still be a bit skippable. Doesn't mean that they're bad, because they're not bad songs, but they're just not what I'd run to listen to. Rise Above Hate had songs that were just standalones that I would run back. I don't care if it's the first one or the last song that came out, but I want to hear it. Even Steppy, which is I still think is one of the most like underrated but definitely worth the value of like of an intro to this day, like, and it stands alone so well. I think he should start moving in that direction again, where you're so confused about whether or not it's an album or a mixtape that you just need him to tell you.
I agree.
This one definitely felt like a mixtape, but that doesn't discredit how good the content was. I
agree. I couldn't say it any better. I think this is great. Unknown T, if you're watching this, shout out to you. Phenomenal. All of the producers on this one, all the features, everybody did their thing. This is great. I'm looking forward to hearing so much more now. Yeah, man. Let us know what y'all think in the comment section down below. Make sure you check out our intro to Unknown T mix and playlist. Frank actually did help me out a little bit with some of those, especially with regards to helping me out with like figuring out some of the mix pieces and stuff like that, giving me some advice and feedback. Check out the playlist, share it with your friends. If you ever want to introduce people to Unknown T, I promise you, I think it's a great playlist. That's just me. But anyway, hang tight for some more reactions. I do got more of those coming for y'all, but until next time, peace. Click, 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 click.